Hi there. We're going to walk through some of the most popular laser upgrades and accessories. Starting at the front, we have the C-vane wind indicator. C-vane wind indicator straps on to the mast via a simple Velcro enclosure. Goes on. Easy to get tight. Wind indicator rotates freely, and the friction between these two metal points can be adjusted by sliding this plastic fitting backwards. You can see it's open now, and forwards, now it's tighter. The main benefit of the C-vane wind indicator is that during a frantic start line with your other laser competitors, a main sheet that runs over the top won't tear your wind indicator off. Very nice, $35. The next item here are the laser mast wear strips, pieces of high density Teflon that wrap themselves around the mast in two places. The first one is actually not very easy to see, but will go basically inside, sitting flush with the top of the deck. They're self-adhesive stickers. They go on very simply. Stick on. The second set goes at the very base of the mast, allowing the mast a more snug fit in the mast step and also allowing it to rotate more freely. Don't know what the price is, but it's not a lot. Great little upgrade. Also at the bottom of the mast step is a Teflon disc. A couple different companies make these. This one's from Rooster. Very simple, low friction, high density Teflon again. Sits at the bottom of the mast step. The mast base plug on the lower section sits on top here, provides the least amount of friction for rotation possible. Very simple little addition. Okay. If you look closely on the boom vang body here where it connects to the mast, there's a quick pin. This quick pin is a push pin type. By pushing on it, you can then remove the vang body, sliding the vang body back over the vang tang in my right hand, line up the holes, take the pin, push it in, and you're good to go. Makes de-rigging a lot simpler. That's a great little addition. Okay. Main sheet block. Lots of controversy on this. Which one's the best? I'm not going to tell you which one's the best. It's this one. The Fredrickson block, now called the Ronstan 62100. Used to be called the Freddy block. Okay. Simple retrofit. Accepts the same main sheet spring that you're used to. The greatest part about the Freddy is that it doesn't tend to chew up your main sheet as much as some of the more angled blocks do. So if you look in the sheave here, there's little pinch points that grab onto the main sheet line. This has a much more rounded contour, but still provides a lot of grip. This has very good holding power, better than any block that I know of. Just like all ratchet blocks, it can be turned off and then on. A little bit spendy, but a great addition for someone racing. Moving backwards on our boat, we're going to talk about the upgrades at the aft section. If you follow the boom down, the clew of our sail has a big grommet, and typically what we've had to do is put either a strange hook in here, or we've had to tie this to the boom. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. There's a lot simpler way to upgrade your laser. So, follow me back to the end of the boom. In the past, we've secured the clew grommet to the boom with a clew tie. So you had to sort of put this here and then feed it through, and then I'd have to tie a square knot or something like that. That's not needed anymore. There's very simple upgrade that's going to make your life easy. Clew strap, okay? This one's from Sail Equipment Australia. This is nice because it has a large stainless steel D-ring, and it has Vectran thread and webbing, so it's very low stretch. Okay? Very easy to use. Simply going to take the clew strap, feed it through the grommet until the D-ring is shown. I'm just going to lift up the boom, see me go around, feed the strap into the D-ring. I'm kind of holding it a little bit. Give it a pull, and then this final strap is the keeper. This is going to go through, and now you can see the clew grommet is actually basically touching the boom, but it still slides freely. Okay? I'm going to pull the sail back, the boom rises up, and now typically in the back of the boat, you would have someone have a hook, I mentioned, or the old days we used to just run some line through here. That's not needed anymore. On the other side, I've got a really clever contraption, which is two parts. This is a 16mm Harken air block attached to a Ronstand RF 1032 shackle. The 1032 is important because as I turn it, it locks into place positively. Unlike some older hooks that could come out accidentally, this is locked in. So to fix it, very, very simple. Just go through, line it up on the other side, and back over. So we have now the shackle, 16mm air block, and the clue strap all making a smooth, positively locking system for your outhaul. Absolutely the way to go by far. Okay, coming back to the front of the boat here, we're actually showing all of the new ball bearing blocks. These were made class legal, I think in 2012, and they differ from the standard blocks that used to be on the Boom and the Traveler. They weren't just Delrin, these are now ball bearings. The lower one's still Delrin. And much lower friction here. New lasers, if you see, have these blocks already affixed. See the forward one as well. That's standard equipment now, but it's not standard on the Traveler. You can buy these blocks as an entire kit, Boom blocks, Traveler blocks, or you can buy them independently. This boat here is configured with the old style Traveler block, and while effective, it has more friction and it's prone to twisting. If you've seen some of our other videos, you'll know that it's very common to use tape. Some people will use even a ton more to prevent these from twisting and rotating around and getting caught up. Okay? This is a very simple addition to add, and you get lower friction and no twisting. So great small addition to the boat. Also on the Traveler, what you see here is this kind of flesh-colored tan line. This is Vectran. And Vectran is some of the lowest stretch and toughest line that you can buy for your Traveler. Now, most people know having a really tight Traveler on the Laser is very important. The tighter the Traveler is, the more the Traveler blocks will slide to either corner while you're going upwind. It's really important. A Vectran Traveler being low stretch allows you to pull as much tension on as possible. Okay? What's harder to see is this Traveler has a splice in it. Instead of having a bowline on this end, this is a custom splice. You can see the marks from the splicing here into a seamless loop. That then goes through the Traveler fair lead on the port side, across over our fancy tiller, to the other side, back through and forward. If you look, there's quite a bit of extra material here. Some people will put a bowline, some people can trim this off. There's lots of different ways to end that, but a Vectran Traveler is a great addition, again, inexpensive. What you'll also see with the Vectran Traveler is we have a non-standard tiller and tiller extension. And these are carbon fiber. Now, strangely, they're actually a mix of two brands. The tiller shown here is the Acme Black Diamond tiller. It's been around forever. Very much sort of the standard for laser sailing for a long time. This has a titanium wear plate on it. There's an indention here forward to provide a bit of extra height to clear the cleat here for the Traveler. And there's a small cleat in the back so that we can get the tightest fit into the rudder head possible. So this is carbon tiller from Acme, old standard, works great. Attached to it is a Rooster carbon tiller extension. Now Rooster also makes carbon tiller for the Laser, as do other companies. So there's a couple good brands out there. The Rooster tiller extension is quite nice because it's very durable. It's available in 3 sizes, 3 different diameters, and it's just a very tough tiller, a lot less prone to breaking than some of the other ones that are around. These come in a 48-inch version. You can trim them down a bit. You can buy a longer one, but it's not necessary on the Laser. And the combination of Vectran Traveler, carbon tiller with a nice carbon extension. If we had the nice blocks on here, the new blocks on the boom, and the rest of the hardware, makes for a nicely set up laser. The last thing I'm going to show you is not a speed thing, but just a convenience factor. And if you've ever fussed around with your auto baler on the bottom of your boat, you know that it doesn't tend to work very well. Ideally, when you pull the plug on a brand new laser, you're creating a gap for water to be sucked out of the cockpit, and there's a chute at the bottom of the boat that goes down, okay? That's all fine. What happens is when you close this, on original boats, they're simply little rings, little O-rings, that are acting as springs, and they don't work very well. After a few months of use, they tend to get brittle, and they break down. And then what happens is your auto baler doesn't close. The door is hanging down, creating drag, and it tends to leak back into the cockpit. You can get from a couple different companies, this is Seavane, the same company that made the wind indicator. These are little springs, and we'll show you in a different video how they get installed, but these little springs make a whole bunch of difference because they're actually acting as springs. The door will open and close on a spring instead of having an O-ring stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. Simple, simple, simple little addition, I think around $10, but a great way to preserve the life of your baler and to keep water from entering the cockpit. As a conclusion to this entire walkthrough, you should be aware that you don't need any of these items. None of these are essential for sailing. However, what we've found is that customers that have a good setup, quick setup, with the right hardware, tend to sail more. The boat's easier to use, it's easier to maintain, it's a little bit more of a joy to sail because things just work. So while you certainly don't need to throw money at any of these things, if you're considering upgrading an old laser or you're looking to get a new one, make sure that you consider the upgrades that we've talked about. I think you'll be very happy. You'll get the most out of your boat.